For anyone watching me, this platform returns regularly scheduled programming next week. But I have to explain the reasoning behind the speediness of my return, which ties into something spiritual that only began happening to me in recent months. Hopefully sharing this doesn't make me even more of a target than I already have been for people who possess ill intentions towards me. But in times of falling asleep when the levels of stress I face start to become unbearable, I unintentionally astral project and return to my body mentally, spiritually, and emotionally recalibrated. But the astral projections I experience aren't typical astral projections. By that I mean every time it happened, my consciousness unintentionally pierced through a different dimension. So far it happened a total of 3 times. Allow me to explain all 3 in complete detail. The first instance of this happened a few months ago. Now I caught myself trying to fall asleep and my entire head started vibrating. A split second later, the vibration that started only in my head spread through my entire body. And not even 10 seconds into the constant vibration throughout my entire body, my eyes were forcefully open. Now I was still in my physical body, but I also was no longer in my bed. This place that my consciousness unintentionally pierced through had brown walls which resembled ancient ruins. But this couldn't be ancient ruins, because through every wall opening there were a multitude of large patterns which highly resembled the multicolored patterns seen on a laptop or a TV screen that had been highly damaged beyond repair. But these weren't still patterns. They were in a television static type loop. Now I got up and walked a few feet in an attempt to try to figure out where I was, and I had a deep inner knowing that this place was safe and all around peaceful, but I couldn't maintain presence there because the vibrational frequency of this place was just bearing down on both my spirit and my psyche, and the weight of the vibration in this place caused me to reach an inner state of nervousness. And immediately after reaching that inner state of nervousness, I was forcefully ejected back into my body in this 3rd dimension, being mentally, spiritually, and emotionally recalibrated. Now I'll explain the second experience in complete detail. Now I was in the midst of falling asleep in the time of extreme stress, and my eyes unintentionally reopened. Once more, I was no longer in my bedroom when my eyes forcefully reopened, exactly like the first experience. But this time, my consciousness unintentionally pierced through a completely different dimension than the first experience. This was seemingly a fully intact, temple-like environment. The area in which I unintentionally arrived was at least 200 feet above ground, supported by beige pillars right beneath. And within this above ground area, there were what appeared to be dozens of dark black seats that had been cemented into the structure. And directly behind these seats, there were a multitude of lighted candles, each covered by red circular glass. And once more, I had a deep inner knowing that this place was safe and harmless. But yet again, the vibrational frequency of this place was heavily bearing down on my spirit and my psyche. Immediately upon feeling weighed down by the vibrational frequency of this place, I was forcefully ejected back to my actual body yet again. But once more, I was mentally, spiritually, and emotionally recalibrated when I returned. Now I'll explain the 3rd experience, which happened just last night. I was just tossing and turning, trying to get to sleep. And after turning to my left for the 2nd time while trying to fall asleep, my eyes forcefully reopened again, still being in my physical body while also no longer in my bed. This time my consciousness unintentionally pierced through what appeared to be the 2nd floor of an ancient temple. But I was immediately able to tell that this was another divine realm that I unintentionally pierced through as a result of intense stress. But in this realm, I was able to sustain presence, and the vibrational frequency wasn't bearing down on me this time. But I can tell that this wasn't a place that was of earth, just because the air and the internal bearing it had on me. The less than 2 minutes that I did sustain presence in this realm, I got excited to explore the scenery and ask a ton of questions if I were able to locate the divine beings who allowed me there. Now I bolted towards the stairs out of excitement to explore the 1st floor scenery, but I didn't get 200 feet before I was forcefully ejected back into my body in this 3rd dimension. Now once again, last night, I returned to my body being mentally, spiritually, and emotionally recalibrated. But moreover, I have to remind anyone watching that I had no control over any of these experiences due to these occurrences only happening while I'm sleeping and times facing unbearable levels of stress. Therefore, we're back next week, and just stay tuned if you've been watching.